More questions on Twitter. Does it bother you that people feel that you should have done more for Obuasi? That you benefit from Obuasi, and what have you done for Obuasi?
It bothers me that I am so misunderstood in that sense. First of all, when we say I should have done more for Obuasi, I was an employee. I was using other people's money, including that of the country, because the country was the biggest shareholder before we became public. The country has 55% of the company. Okay. And London had 45%. I was the farm manager. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Okay. So when they say I should have done more for Obuasi, I think that people misunderstand the role that the chief executive of a company has. It's not, you don't have the freedom or the authority to do what you like. However, because of my commitment to sustainability as defined earlier, I make sure that I made the case to the company. Look, I was brought up in Obuasi, and for most part, first of all, apart from the mines, which was an island unto itself, but the only house in the town which had electricity was my house. We had a generator when I was a kid. Okay. Standing water, piped water, those things did not. Okay, you didn't have it. But you didn't have it set in the home. You had to go and fetch water and all of that nonsense. So when I became chief executive in 1986, I and my team, we came up with a plan for rehabilitation of Obuasi modernization, and we worked closely with the architecture department of tech and the town planning department. And it was funded, it was accepted by the company. And we did the roads, we installed street lights. We didn't have street lights. We had 3 major dams constructed, and everybody, Obuasi everywhere, they had water. Okay. I mean, we modernized schools. Obuasi schools, we worked on the schools in terms of physical facility modernization. We helped the local secondary school. We expanded the hospital so that everybody else can go and not just dependents of the hospital, of the company. We did all of that. But there's a fundament which I need to address, because that is at the core of the misunderstanding that people have. When people say, look at Obuasi, they say, look at Obuasi and look at Johannesburg. They all produce gold. You're right. Johannesburg was a gold town. Obuasi was and is a gold town. So is Takwa, so was Konongo. Do you know what the difference is? The difference is that Johannesburg, the owners of the mines were South Africans, albeit white. So they had nowhere to take their money. So they invested the money in their town, and the government applied the taxes in the town and in the country. Until 1972, when the champion, Obuasi had been 1895. And by the way, Obuasi was founded by 3 Ghanaians. They formed the company, okay? But until then they sold out. Until 1969, Ghana as a country did not have any shareholding interest in Obuasi, and that blueprint since 1895. In 1969, the Ghana government was given 15% by loan roll because they wanted the lease of the company extended. It was given by another 50 years. Okay. Then in 1972, General Champion, took over the commanding height and assumed 55% interest in mines. That is when the Ghana government, for the first time, the people of Ghana became prominent owners of the mines.
Since 1895.
Since 1895. Okay. Then, to show you, at that time, the company was valued at less than 100 million. When we listed the company in 1994, the Ghana government, whose interest was 45%, reduced the entry to 30%, and for the 15%, for the 25% that they took $330 million of the table, cash. If even 100 million had been spent in Obuasi would have been a different place. But it went to go to balance the budget, because consistently we have lived beyond our means. So when people compare South Africa, Johannesburg to Obuasi, what I want people to appreciate is that it is down to ownership. And I had previously in my speeches, I've lamented on the fact that the Ghanaian ownership of the local economy is very disappointing. Look at your mobile telephone companies. There is no Ghanaian, forget about Vodafone, because Vodafone is so Vodafone, Ghana government has about, Ghana has about, I don't know what the figure is, about maybe 20% or whatever. There is no, whether it's MTN, whether it's Airtel, there is no Ghanaian who has 1% of any of them. Look at the banks. They have a Nigerian owned or Standard Chartered Barclays, all of them foreign owned. Look at even the insurance companies now. Look at the mines. There's no Ghanaian who has 1% of any of the mines. No Ghanaian. It's a fact. There's no Ghanaian who has 1% of any of the oil, tallow or whatever. So when they take their money, where do you think they're going to put it? Outside. But if a Ghanaian has 20%, and this thing doesn't just happen, empowerment doesn't just happen. It's a deliberate act of government policy to empower your own people. So if you sit there idle and you don't do anything, equity does not assist the indolent. You don't do anything, you take their money away. So I've heard this thing said so many times that, oh, he didn't do much work. First of all, as I said, I was a farm manager. I made a case for Obuasi to modernize, and with great pride, I would say that we modernized Obuasi in a big way. Obuasi town was what, less than 50,000 people. It's now more than 300,000 people. Whole place changed, so many housing estates. We invested about 5,000 houses and created jobs. So I'm very proud of my record within the limitations of what I was as a chief executive of the company.